So you should have just watched the video about the dancing guy and how you can influence change. What I'd like to do is to share with you two models that you have within your package and in your notebook that will explain why people find it hard to change, why you find it hard to change, and then how you can influence your cycle of belief and your ability to be able to take action. Both of these modes of thinking or models add value to each other, and both of them will explain something to yourself in relation to how you feel right now about the changes to your sector. So the first one is around mindset. Now, if you think about mindset, mindset influences the choices that you make. It influences your behaviour and how comfortable or uncomfortable you feel in any given situation. So you'll note that we have 4 different grids. We have levels 1 and 3, and we have levels 2 and 4. So levels 1 and 3 are both familiar activities, so we like them. We like thinking and working in that space. Levels 3 and 4, on the other hand, are both unfamiliar, and we don't like things that are unfamiliar, and therefore we don't want to think and work in that space. If we think about the 4 grids and how they work together, we see some things that are quite telling when it comes to understanding mindset. So level 1, class 1 thinking. It feels good, it's good for us, it's good for others, and it's good for the greater good. So we want to spend most of our time in that space, don't we? But often what we do in life, and particularly at work, is that we fall down into class number 3. So a class 3 activity is something that feels good but isn't good for us. So we're talking about procrastination. We're talking about smoking, maybe smoking cigarettes. We're talking about not exercising. Feels good not to exercise, but we know that it's not good for us. Often what happens is that the time that we spend in a class 3 experience, if we repeat that activity or behaviour for long enough, it becomes a class 4 experience, and that's when it doesn't feel good anymore. So take smoking or exercise as an example. You can put off exercising for a period of time, months, years perhaps, but at some stage that feeling of not going and getting sweaty and exercising and working your body will start to feel bad. You'll get overweight, you might get diabetes, you might have a whole heap of other issues and diseases that are occurring. So what happens is that something that feels good then feels bad, and it's much harder to be able to change that behaviour. It becomes an unfamiliar thing. The takeaway here, ladies and gents, is that for you to be able to get to a stage where you are in a class 1 experience where it feels good and it's good for you, to take yourself from a class 3 or 4 experience, you need to go through a class 2 experience. And a class 2 or a level 2 experience feels bad, but is good for you. And it's good for the organisation, good for the greater good. In your situation right now, there are certain things that don't feel good. There are certain changes in relation to how your organisation is functioning that don't feel good, but are good for you. They're good for the organisation, and clearly they're good for the greater good. They're good for the community and the people that you serve. So the takeaway here in terms of your mindset is to understand that this is a universal truth. So we've just explored mindset and why most people, including you and I, find it difficult to change because we don't want to go into a space of unfamiliarity. The next thing I want to explain to you is the belief cycle. So you'll find this in your workbook on the next page. And this explains why it's difficult for some people to take action and why taking action is the central part to be able to create the momentum that you need in anything, but certainly in relation to where your organisation is right now. So the belief cycle, if you're looking at the model, has 4 different circles. So let me explain the circles, and then you can apply yourself to this and bring it to life through the context of your role within your organisation. So what the model suggests is that we all have unlimited potential. We have unlimited potential to achieve something. So this is anyone and everyone in life. If you believe in your capacity to take advantage of that potential, then you're going to do something. So your self-belief in your potential generally leads you to take some action. And as a result of that action, you get an outcome, you get a result. And the result reinforces your self-belief in your potential. It's what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy, which means you do this, you get that result, and that result reinforces doing more of this. So the critical part here is your self-belief. Self-belief is one of those things that you need to work on for yourself internally. But what you can do is be proactive about thinking, what can I do and what are the results that I can expect as a result of doing that thing? And that's what I'd like to encourage you to do. If you consider the actions that you can take and the results that you'll get as a result of those actions, that's something that you can impact on definitively right now. So I'd like to encourage you to make a list. Make a list on the sheet in your notebook. Make a list of the sorts of things that you need to do, the sorts of actions that you can take to improve your self-belief in your potential to be able to be a key part of what your organisation needs to do going forward. How can you provide your clients with genuine choice and control? What would the result of that be? And how would that reinforce your own self-belief in your role amongst that?